What's up, guys? Jared here with the Rotax Rednecks. Want to get on here. We're going to start a new series off. So Chris posted his walk around of his machines. I'm going to go ahead and kick off mine with my machines. We're going to tell you guys all about them, what we're doing to them, what we've done to them to make them better, what we've tried that didn't work, what does work. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my 2017 Renegade. So this bike started its life as a bone stock 2017 Renegade 1000 XMR, and I've turned it into this. You guys have seen this bike a lot on the channel. We ride the crap out of it. So yeah, we'll talk about everything that we've done to it, what's working for me, what hasn't worked for me, because I've tried a bunch of different setups, wheel and tire combos, and this is what I found out works the best. So let's get to it. I'm gonna get behind the camera and just talk about this bike with you guys, show you what we've done and what works. Let's go. All right, let's jump right into it. So here we go. I'm gonna start off right in the front, the rag kit and bumper. So this bumper and rag kit came out of Good Time Recreation up in Canada. So I sent them our logo, and they had that CNC cut into it. Turned out really good. So this whole thing, the cover and the bumper are all aluminum. So that's one part I like about it. It's lightweight. It does dent easy. Luckily, I haven't ran into anything yet, so I haven't dented it yet, but it's still pretty thick aluminum tubing. Comes all the way up here like the factory XMR, bolts right into the factory spot. Bolts right down there above the factory bump plate up in front of the winch. And then I did the plumbing. I did my own little design, figured that all out. Ran everything down this side. Both hoses from the bottom right there come out, and the top comes across, goes down and shoots down there, and then I ran it down the front into the grill, right into the factory coolant lines, right under the fender. That's why I have that inner fender off, to show you guys where those went. And then next, we'll go over here. So I did do all black plastics, ordered those off of Partzilla. It was silver, and the black front and black rear are factory. These side panels used to be silver, and this cowl used to be silver. That is the factory XMR snorkel with the stickers taken off. And then up here, a koozie, because you need that. And then you guys can see, I have a I got rid of the factory mount and did a OMD. That's that chrome piece right there you see. That's a stiffener for the stem. It's just a solid piece of billet aluminum that goes down in there to stiffen up the core. And then I did a 2-inch riser. So right now I have 2.5 inches of rise. I'm 6'4", so I wanted to get the bars up a little bit. It also makes it to where you don't have to run into this if you hit this on anything, because on some bikes, I've noticed if you have the stock bars mounted, it'll hit here in certain gears if you're steering, so you don't want that. And then next I did the Lucky 7 floorboards with the Rotax Rednecks logo cut into the back right there. You can see it. Boom. And it is not a 570. I'll get to that in a second. So those are the factory XMR foot pegs. I cut those to fit because they were a little tight when you suck in with the Lucky 7s. So this side fit perfect. And then I caught this on a tree. That's why it's dented. So that side fit. But since I have the Big Boys Customs clear cover, I had to cut this side. See where I cut it at a 45, so I could get to that drain plug down there to drain any water out of there. That's why I did that. And then that belt box cover has our logos cut into it, and it's protecting my full QSC STM clutch setup I have in this bike. So those clutches are nasty. I have those built by Adam over at Quad Shop Customs. He did the spring in this STM secondary, and then set my weights in the primary for me for the tires I'm running. So now we're talking about tires. I'm running a 34-inch Super ATV Assassinator with MSA beadlocks, just outer beadlocks. And they've been really good tires. So these tires I've had on for a year now, and I haven't had any issues. I've broken, let me think, 2 axles in the 3 years I've had this bike. I broke a left front and a right rear. And the right rear didn't break until I pulled the arms off. So it had a cracked cup, and then when I pulled the arms off and popped the axle out, that's when that axle broke. A lot of people are surprised I'm running OEM axles. They take a heck of a beating, and my angles aren't too bad with the arms that I'm running. So for arms, I have the CFAB 2-inch stretch in the rear, and I'm running the factory shock still. Just got some powder shot on those. And then on the front, I'm running the S3 2-inch forward, no lift front A-arms with Keller ball joints pushed into those bad boys. And I've had zero issues with these. The Fitment, I had to get a hold of S3 when I first got them, but they figured it out. We got everything figured out. Threw some washers in there. So Fitment-wise, everything fit great. And then the front diff, I'm running a stock front diff with the torque locker, or not, sorry, Visco locker deleted. I have a torque locker installed. So if you guys follow the channel before, you've seen that I blew that factory diff up. It's actually laying over here. This is the factory diff that came on that bike. And what happened is, if you guys know anything about Renegade and Outlander diffs, the way that diff's held together, there's Allen keys that hold your Visco in. Those Allen keys are notorious for backing out. And they backed out and literally ate the case. You can see that line right there. And eventually it just fatigued enough. I was backing it out of the garage in two-wheel drive and it just let loose. Blew this thing apart. But luckily, one of you guys out there hooked me up, had a front diff laying in your garage and sent it to me for 150 bucks, and I just took all my torque locker and guts out and put it in that diff, so that was awesome. And then we got with Sean over at Specialized ATV. He hooked it up with a new front drive shaft right there on the through shaft and a billet tie rods from Specialized ATV, which those things are huge. They have huge hinds on each end. I've had zero issues with those tie rods. And then we'll go on to the motor. So the motor, I blew it up 2 years ago because I forgot to put the gas cap on because I'm dumb, and that's how I earned my nickname. So yeah, blew the motor up, spun a rod bearing, tried to start it when it was sunk, spun the rod bearing, she had no oil in her, and then yeah. So then we went ahead and did a stock bore rebuild on this motor with aluminum heads, aluminum coolant necks, or sorry, aluminum head gas covers, and then aluminum coolant necks, and then we did Mr. RPM stock spec drop-in cams in this bike, and then he did the flash and tune. But when that happened, I also had a gearbox go bad. So I blew a gearbox, shot a gear through the gearbox of the factory gearbox. And then this bike has the 6x6 low gear reduction gearbox in it. If you get online, you can look, it makes a huge difference in the gear ratios. You actually notice it a lot. Like, I can wheelie this bike in low, I can wheelie this bike in high. It's an absolute monster when I went to the 34s with the clutches in that 6x6 gearbox. That gearbox has paid for itself tenfold. It's a little expensive to do it. I think it's only like $200 more over an OEM gearbox for the stock spec ratios, but it's night and day what this thing does with that gearbox. So yeah, 1K with a 6x6 gearbox with Specialized ATV gears in the stock case in the rear end. So that rear diff, I've got that one, and I've got two more over there. One's a bad one, and the other one has Sean's gears in it cut too. So far I've had 1 week, I've rode 3 days on that diff. No issue. Chris, I was out of town. He set up my backlash and everything. Did it all in the shop. It worked out great. That diff is a monster. It's held on. I've blown 2 diffs, and hopefully this is my last one for a long time because I hate blowing diffs. It ruins your weekend. And then another thing on this bike we did is obviously we run tiger tails on everything. So this tiger tail, I made the mount. That's my thing. I like to weld stuff, just tinker. So I made the mount down here. Used the factory tiger tail mount, bolted it right there and back there. Welded a piece of 2-inch tube to the factory plate after I cut the hitch off. And I had an old receiver, I just cut that off and mounted the D-ring. And that thing is pretty stout. It's pulled out a lot of people and helped get me pulled out a lot of times. All right, next we're gonna move on to the pipes. I got full RJWC mud editions. They're pretty quiet compared to what I used to have. I used to have Empires with no guts and they were stupid loud. Other than that, that's pretty much the Renegade. This thing has been put to the test. I've had a bunch of different tires on it. I've had crush locks on it, hated them. They're literally rubber saw blades and they go to the bottom of everything. These things, I run 10 PSI in the front, 6 PSI in the rear. I like the front to float when I'm getting in the deep water stuff, just kind of water wheelie through stuff. So that's why I run 10 PSI in the front. I have a KFI winch for it. This winch recently took a crap. That's a Warren VRX. It only lasted me about 1.5 years. Kind of disappointed in that winch. But I'm going to put the new KFI shallow drum, or the short drum, sorry. So it's a little bit shorter than that VRX, and it sits right inside there. And it's a 5K compared to that 3500. And then, obviously, the back rack, front bumper, everything shot with powder here in Virginia Beach at Axiom Restorations, right downtown Virginia Beach. Dude did a great job. His name's Andrew. If you have any questions, get with those guys. but he really made that Inferno Cherry pop on this bike. The red looks great. The red and black combo is awesome. Everything I own car-wise, except my Defender, is this color. My truck's this color, my cars are this color. I'm a little bit of a psychopath and I like my red. But yeah, this is the Renegade. If you guys have any questions, what I did, what worked, what didn't work, drop them in the comments. We'll talk about it. I'll let you know what I've done, what helped me get through some issues. The belt box, I had to do a little bit of work to make it fit. I think just the cast from when it came from AM, the guys that do it for Big Boys Customs, it was a little off, so I made those holes fit, just little stuff. And then, oh, I didn't tell you guys, I got 4 JWC headlights and taillights. These things are great. I love these lights. Show them to you. So there you got the rears. They look pretty good. I like some halos. And then I got the front RJWC halos. I don't like light bars. These things are super bright. I don't ride the Renegade at night a lot, but when I do, I like to be able to see where I'm going. So yeah, that's the Renegade. And if you guys have any questions, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you want to see. We're going to bring a bunch of more people in our group's builds to you like this. We like showing you guys, telling you guys what we've done. We know a lot about the Can-Am aspect of it. That's all we run. So yeah, drop the comments. Let us know what you need help with. It's nothing to, if we have the machine, we'll make a video on it if you guys want to see something. So that's me. I'm Jared with the Rotax Rednecks. Thanks for checking out my Renegade. Till next time, I'm going to bring you the Defender next. We'll see you.